very good evening, all of you. I'm Shruti Singh, and I would like to welcome you all on behalf of entire team BioTecNika. Am I audible? Okay. So, as you know that we have all gathered around to discuss the tips and tricks for the coming CSIR UGC NET exam, which is the most important exam when it comes to research and development field and science background. So I would like to welcome our CEO and MD, Mr. Shekhar Suman, who will be sharing the tips and tricks for the coming CSIR NET exam.
All right. Thank you, Shruti. Good afternoon, students. Can you hear me? Please confirm. All right. So we welcome you all to this seminar. Before we get started, let's have a quick introduction. All right. My name is Shekhar. I'm the CEO and Managing Director of BioTecNika Infolabs Private Limited. And today I'm here to give you some tips and tricks on CSIR NET exam. And before we get started, I would like to know each one of you personally. So if you could quickly type in chat your name I know already, your location and your qualification, and in which year you passed out. So you tell me your city and which subject you have studied. So this will help me to customize the seminar according to your requirements. Alright, so we have got as of now around 44 students. I believe now my video will also be visible, right? Okay, so we have Vinodini, Kartika, Nilamani, Manju. Okay, Garima. All right. Okay, now guys, as we are on internet, so if in case you're not able to hear me properly, just let me know. I'll switch off my video so that the audio will be proper. Okay. All right. So I can see people from all across the country, right, joining in for this seminar, right? Now, before we get started, let us understand, when is your CSIR NET examination? The next CSIR NET exam is on June 19th. All right. And how many of you are targeting the June exam? All right. I think most of you. Now, if you look at it, if you're targeting the June exam or let's say December exam also, so the tips and tricks are going to help you equally. Okay. In all of the examinations. In fact, I'll give you some tips and tricks for GATE as well, GATE and ICMR. Okay. Now we are left with how many days? Have we counted? Hardly 22 days. Okay, my voice is breaking. Let me switch off my camera. All right, now it should be fine for Deepa. Right. So we've got around 22 days, and the 23rd day is the exam, right? So what are your feelings? How are you feeling right now? What are your pain points? Let me understand that first. What exactly you see 22 days beyond from now? Okay, people are scared. Okay, Tensed, scared, that's a usual word we hear from students. Anybody? Fear, confused? Alright. Okay. Doubtful. How can I revise? Now guys, let me be very frank, if you go on internet and just type some tips and tricks, you will find a lot of tips and tricks, but the most important thing here to be noted is follow those which is practical. There are some tips and tricks which is impractical to follow. So I'm just going to talk about tips and tricks, and then I'm going to give you a brief overview of the difficulty level of CSIR. Okay. And I'm also going to tell you which all units you should be studying. Yes, Manju, the recording of this webinar will be available, so don't worry. Okay. Now, so I'm going to talk a lot, and basically I'll be focusing on life science, but my colleague Mr. Abhiram, Dr. Abhiram, will be joining in at around 5 o'clock or 5:15 once I finish, and then he'll be taking it up for chemical science. Okay. So if you are a chemical science person, my tips and tricks are going to help you in general, but I'll be focusing more on life science because that's my expertise. Okay. Now, moving ahead, as you told, you are confused, scared, tensed, anxious, fearful. This may be your last chance. After that, you may be planning something else. You may be feeling demotivated that you're not able to revise or recall, right? And most of you must be feeling that I'm not able to remember whatever I studied. Okay. Yes, Karthik, I had to disable my video because some people were facing problem with the audio. Okay. All right. Now I'm enabling my screen share. So can you guys confirm if you're able to see my screen? Is it visible? Right. Okay. So this is what you're feeling right now. Common feelings: tense, depressed, anxious, confused, right? But don't worry. In the next 60 minutes, we're going to give you power-packed tips which will certainly help you in your exam. And the best part is to listen to these tips and tricks and to refer it later. You don't need to move out of your house and go to any expert, because we are streaming live from our Bangalore headquarters right inside your desktop or laptop, inside your home, right? Now, as you can see, these are the common terms we all feel. This is perfectly human, okay? So don't worry if you're feeling tense, anxious, depressed, it's okay. Now we need to understand how difficult is the CSIR NET examination. Now I'm really grateful to one of our experts, Dr. Prabhakaran, who has done this entire survey of the difficulty level of all other examinations, which is visible on your screen right now. I hope you can see my screen. Now, if you look at the ICMR JRF paper, it is of 120 minutes, okay? And total 125 questions will be there, okay? And out of which 50 will be aptitude, there will be no choice, and subjective questions will be 100. Sorry, subject-based questions, okay? Now out of that you have to, that will be of 75 marks, so in total it will be of 125 marks, right? So ideally you get only 0.96 seconds, okay, per question. Alright, I can see at this point there are some people who are, okay, my voice is clear, guys? Alright, now moving to the next, GATE Life Science paper. Syllabus is properly defined, yes. They give you 3 hours, 180 minutes, and as you can see, they have got 65 questions, 15 of chemistry, 10 of aptitude, and there'll be subject 40, right? You have to compulsorily attempt all those. So you get 2.76 seconds per question. Okay. Now moving ahead, if you look at GRE, which is an international level examination in biochemistry, cell and molecular biology, okay, there you get hardly 1 minute, okay, per question. Now if you look at CSIR NET, you've got 13 units and you're getting 2.4 minutes per question. Okay, so ideally, comparatively speaking, in CSIR exam you get more time. Do you agree or do you disagree? It's almost equal to GATE Excel paper and is way ahead of ICMR and GRE. Am I right? Am I wrong? Please respond in chat. Correct? Then why are you scared? Don't worry, you'll have ample amount of time. Now I'll come to that question, that is it difficult to understand or what. I'll be telling you the tips and tricks for that. So my first thing is, see, a person who is scared will not be able to perform. So I don't want you to be scared. I don't want you to be tensed. So my first tips or tricks of the day would be, don't be tensed, because you will have ample amount of time to think and answer. All you need is time management. I'm going to tell you about that also in my future slides. Okay. Now, Jyoti, I can see your chat and respond. You can always question in the chat. Okay. Now, cut off and all, I'll share you, Anush. Okay. Moving ahead. Now, I'm sure 22 days left. You must be planning to revise, correct? Now, the first question would be, of course, there will be some part of syllabus which you have not covered and some part of syllabus which you have covered. Okay. So, which one you should study first? The known ones or the unknown ones? That's the first question. And the second would be aptitude, maths. Oh my God, right? Most of you must have opted for biology because you hated maths. Am I right? Some of you might not, exceptions are always there, but yes. Isn't that the case? Yes, Deepa. Right? Sakshi, okay. Yes. Now that is where, now we are scared of maths, and when it comes to our other 13 units, we don't know which one to capture first, whether we should study those which we have already studied in past 6 months, or we should go for those which we have never touched also, right? So let us do a survey. Okay. Now what kind of survey? Now first survey I will do for general aptitude. Okay. If you look at the slide right now, Jyoti, is it not clear, my voice? Probably you need to check with your internet connection. Okay. Now please look at the slide right now. Logical reasoning, numbers, distance, probability, geometry, profit loss, analytical and numerical ability, and graphical questions. These are the type of questions which they ask in CSIR. And the highest number of questions which has been asked is geometry. Okay. And same with logical reasoning, right? So the weightage of geometry and logical reasoning is higher. When it comes to others, it is little lesser, right? So you can keep this in mind and prepare for those questions which is from geometry and logical reasoning. Okay. Now, if in case you are asking me what are the books which you should refer for general aptitude, there are n number of books which you can follow, but you should not try to follow general aptitude any new things which you have not studied. If you have been preparing for part A since the beginning, then only go for it. Otherwise, don't suddenly start with a new book and start preparing. Okay, that will kill your time and you lose out on the part B and part C, right? But what I can suggest you is take your class 8th to 12th, 8th to 10th NCERT books, okay, CBSE books, or you can also look for RS Agrawal books. If not, you can also go for our printed study material aptitude part A. Okay. So these are the things. Now, coming to the next part B and part C. Now, guys, pause for a minute and look at this complex graph, I am going to explain you how this particular graph can change the way you prepare for CSIR NET. This graph is a life-changing graph for all of you. Pay attention to what I am showing you right now. If you look at it, the base x-axis is all the units. Unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the frequency of questions in terms of percentages has been put up on the y-axis. Okay? Is this clear? The x and y axis? Now look at the question. Okay? In part B, more than 15% of the questions comes from unit 1 and unit 5. Please note it down. Okay? 15% of the questions. Right? Now, if you actually look at unit 9 forms the lowest. Can you see? Let me annotate it. It will be easy for you. Can you see here? Unit 9 is the lowest. And here as it is written, unit 1 and unit 5. Okay, these two units, 15% of the questions are asked from these two units. Okay, now more than 10% questions will come from 2, 3, 4, 6 and 11 and 13. Okay, but less than 10%, so these units are not that important, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 12. Now most of us, in fact all of us, get scared by the syllabus and start focusing on covering the entire syllabus. Only a fool will try to cover the entire syllabus in CSIR NET. That is what you should be knowing at this juncture. Don't be foolish, don't waste your time in covering everything. Okay, don't be a jack of all and master of none. Instead, follow this graph and try to be a master of those units from which the question comes more. Remember, your target at this juncture is to compete and get more marks than your competitor. This is a competition. This is no longer, general exam. Okay, am I clear? Okay, so don't fall in that trap. We all go in that trap, right? How many of you people were thinking that preparing for all the exams all the chapters is important? It's not. Absolutely not, guys. Don't do that. Okay, guys, you have to understand this fact that unit 5 is important, unit 1 is important, but unit 9 is not. Okay, so you have to strategize. Now coming to part C, more than 10% of the questions will come from unit 4, 5 and 13. Is it clear? Can you see here on the screen? And 8% from unit 1, 3, 8. And more than 5% questions from these units 2, 5, 7, 10, 11, 12. Now this is all a statistical analysis. Looks like a part A question, but don't worry. If you just focus, unit 13 has got the highest frequency of questions, right? For part B, am I right? And part C questions, maximum questions are coming from unit 13. Can you see? Right? Now, nowhere in the world you will get this kind of analysis thanks to BioTecNika team experts. Today I am presenting this to you, that the difference and the weightage as per the last 5 years question paper. If you have any doubt, go open all these previous year question papers, and then only you will be able to understand that this graph speaks volumes for your preparation. The next 22 days, now you should be focusing more on those units where the frequency of questions is more. So tell me guys, which units you should be preparing? Tell me quickly. Which units you should be preparing now or revising now? Am I clear? Does this graph explain you? Yes. Now you know the answer. I need not say. You all are smart guys, and I know you all are going to qualify the exam. Okay? And BioTecNika will stand beside you to help you qualify. right? So don't fall in the trap of completing the syllabus. Go as per this statistical analysis and only prepare for those units from where the frequency of question is more. Now, let us move to the next. I'm going to give you the time management recipe. Okay, so basically so far we have discussed what all we discussed. We talked about the general aptitude, we talked about the frequency of questions and the topics which you should be revising, and then now I'm coming to time management recipe. Okay, now what is the number of questions in the exam? CSIR NET Life Science.
My name is Akansha. I joined BioTecNika 6 months ago for my NET and GATE preparations. I actually joined the classroom coaching facility provided over here, which changed my entire life. I secured All India rank 41 in CSIR NET GRF, and I also qualified GATE BT 2016. As we all are aware of the growing demand and need of the clearing the national entrance exams like GATE and NET. But the dilemma with us is that the unending syllabus that has to be covered in a very short period of time. Here BioTecNika helped me a lot by focusing on the most of the important topics which we should need to give most, which we should give most priority to them in order to clear the exams. The faculty over here, each and every faculty is a masterpiece and has given their best to us. Also, the pattern of exams followed here is very much similar to the pattern of exams followed in the national level exams. The weekly and monthly tests conducted here, they all make us very much acquainted with the real exams, and that's why our fear and nervousness is gone. Also, that I have already stated that each and every faculty is very much supportive, and BioTecNika supported me everywhere where I wanted. So lastly, I would like to only say thanks to BioTecNika to support me a lot, support me till here, and I hope and believe that it would help me even in my future, because I am trying to get at PhD. So lastly, I owe my success to BioTecNika, and thanks a lot to BioTecNika.
145, correct? Now, number of questions out of this 145 which you have to answer is only 75. Okay. Now, next, out of that, 20 questions will be in part A, and you have to answer only 15. Don't do the mistake of answering 16 or 20 questions. You will waste your time. Okay. Remember that. Part A, 15 questions, 30 marks. Part B, 50 questions, out of which 35 you have to answer, 70 marks. Part C, you'll have maximum number of questions, which is 75, and out of which you have to answer only 25 questions. That means you have to reject those which are lengthy or which seem difficult, and that carries the maximum number of marks, right? That is 100. Now, if you look at it, which particular section you must attempt is part C for sure. Okay, and you should be very good in guessing which one you should be leaving. Don't do the guesswork for answering the question, but yes, by the time you start reading the question, have a knack of it. Okay, I'm not going to solve this because I have not studied. So you should only try to target those questions which you have studied, or the questions from which are from the topic which you have studied, to be precise. Okay, So the question paper booklet will be distributed 15 minutes before the schedule of the exam. Okay. Now here I would like to emphasize to most of you a very common thing. We all have done it, and we will, some of you will do it for sure. Okay. So let me remind you. Point number 1, do not reach to the exam center late. Wake up early, reach early. If possible, take up a hotel or something nearby. Okay, don't do hurry burry. Last minute, things can change your entire life. Okay, last minute, avoid that last minute schedule only, right? Point number 2, make sure you have ample amount of pen, pencil, eraser, whatever is required. Okay, and they are all refilled, and you have spare refills. This is all common sense, right? Now you will recognize that you can answer easily even if you know little about the subject. Okay, and but there will be a negative marking of 25% for each wrong answer, right? So that means since part C carries more marks, 1/4 of that will also be more, correct? So any kind of guesswork in trying to solve part C questions, you will kill yourself. Don't do that. Okay. Now the next point which I would like to make is, many of you forget to mark the OMR sheet. You start marking the questions inside the question booklet, and at the end you realize that you have not marked the OMR sheet. So remember, OMR sheet will be evaluated, not your question paper. Question paper you are going to take away. Okay. All the rough work you can do in the question paper, but you must mark the OMR sheet. Am I clear with this? Okay. Now, while reading the question paper, you will also realize that 2.6 minutes per question you have, so you should not panic. Okay, 145 marks, 70 questions, 2.6 minutes per question. Okay, now moving ahead, look at the minimum cutoff. 21st June 2015, that is last year June, cutoff was 53% for unreserved. For OBC it was 45%, SC/ST it was 37 and 33, for physically handicapped it was 26, same with LS 47, 40, 33, 30 and 25, right? So keep in mind you have to cross that barrier. Okay, if you are above that barrier, you will be through. Okay, now let us go to the next slide. Now, prepared versus unprepared, right? CSIR NET is a multiple choice question examination, right? Now, it is easy and quick, but if the student, that is you are not reading the question carefully, you can end up in disaster. The answer is always easy to recognize, even if you know little about the subject, but a bit of guesswork can lead you to disaster. So first you should decide which question to answer, okay, which one not to answer, which one you know first, you answer those, then come back to those in which you need to think a bit. Okay, wherever you know sure short answers, first answer those. Alright, now if the guesses are right, you may get a credit, but avoid the guesses. Okay, now I'm going to give you 5 points for your success in CSIR NET exam. Okay, the first one is, read the question entirely. Don't jump to a conclusion just by reading first 2 lines of the question. Am I clear with this? Guys, I'm not getting answers. Alright, now next, anticipate the answer as you read, but do not believe in what you anticipate. It's not vice versa. Do you get my point? Anticipate the answer as you read. Suppose while you are reading, your guesswork or your mind will say, okay, this is what is going to be the answer. But before, even if you look at the choices, if you are ready with the answer, you may end with a disaster. So always cross match what is your answer choice before reading the options, and then after reading the options, what is your answer choice? Whichever best matches, mark that. Okay. Now, highlight or underline the key terms or concepts. Suppose a question has got a key term, right? Say chromatography, underline it. Okay. And then so that you can quickly jot down and your mind will be able to connect. Okay, this is from which particular unit and how I should be thinking. Okay. And first you should eliminate the clearly wrong answers. Suppose 4 options are there. So first you remove all those. I hope you remember Kaun Banega Crorepati, that 50-50 lifeline. Use that. First eliminate those which are wrong and then go for the right answers. Okay. So suppose last 2 answer options are left and now you have to do the calculation or go back to your concepts and solve. Okay. Next, consider all possible answers. Okay. You are not looking for the correct answer or exact answer, looking for the best answer or a best match. Many times they may not give you the exact answer, they may give you somewhere nearby. Okay, so you're looking for the best answer, not the exact answer. Okay, so don't get confused. Now with this I come to an end of one of my PowerPoints, but don't worry guys, I have something more to give you today. Okay, now let me come to my next PowerPoint. Time management techniques and tips and tricks. Now here I am going to give you more of how you should be dealing in the next 22 days. Whatever I spoke till now was on the day of exam. Okay. Now I am going to talk to you about the time management techniques and how you should be preparing in the next 22 days time, right? Now let's be clear, whatever I spoke till now was on the day of exam, right? You have got 2.6 minutes to solve, right? But what you should be doing in the next 22 days is also important, right? Remember, those 3 hours is the most important. So I spoke about it first. Now I'm going to talk about the tips and tricks, right? So now the first point which I want to make is plan, focus and execute. What you need to plan? Guys, what do you need to plan? You need to prioritize. You need to prioritize which all units you are going to cover or revise in the next 22 days. I have already given you that. Am I right? Next. So you have planned that. Okay. Next, you have to focus. That means do a time management of your entire day. How many hours you're going to spend on what topic and how soon you're going to cover, and you should be totally focused. The next 22 days, forget all the festivals. Fortunately, there are none of them in the next 22 days. If you are preparing for that December exam, again, you have got some festivals, but here you don't have festivals, right? And anyways, just forget everything. Forget watching IPL, forget watching BPL, whatever it is, right? What is important at this juncture is your success, okay? And execute your plan very well and punish yourself if you don't execute your plan properly. Now, what I mean by this is, now, suppose I plan today to study 8 hours, I am planning to cover these topics, and at the end of the day, I am going to reward myself with an ice cream if I am able to complete. If I fail, then I am going to double my hours. I don't mean double by hours, but I am going to cover it today itself. Okay, so it should be a thumb rule, right? Failing to plan is planning to fail, as you can see on the screen, right? So you must plan properly in the next 22 days. Okay, I'm not getting answers from other guys. There are other people also sitting. Ambika, Ananta, Anika, Ankita, Anusha, Ashasmita, Chayanika, Dashrath, Debasmita, Deepa, Devoshri. There are a lot of you and you're not answering my, right? All of you should answer. See, it has to be interactive. I am here to help you. So you should be asking. Don't just listen. It should be a two-way interaction, right? Okay, great. Now, let's move to the next. Time management. As I told you, during the exam you have to do time management. Now before the exam, in the next 22 days also you have to do time management. So before the exam, time distribution in low and high points. Now let us look at it. All the aspirants who are going to write the CSIR NET exam on 19th of June in between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock are going to get the same 3 hours. Do you agree? And you all have 22 days in the up to exam. So we all are getting the same amount of time, but if it is all depending on us how we utilize it, right? So you have to analyze which all hours you are wasting in doing something else, okay, and channelize that extra hours in studying, okay. Now how should be your studies? It should be in an audio visual method. Now see, if I just give you a boring book with all text, you will get bored, okay. So you need to have an audio visual method. Tell me, do you remember a movie more or you remember your textbook more? Obviously movie, right? Because all your senses are working in one direction. You are seeing, you are listening, right? So but when you're reading a book, you're not listening it, right? So that is where it comes. You have to utilize all your senses. Now moving ahead, emphasize more on your strong points. As I said, the first mistake what we do is we start, okay, 22 days are left, my unit 13 is pending, let me start studying that. By the time I finish unit 13, I'll realize I forgot everything from unit 1 to 12. Now I know only unit 13, right? So don't do that, okay. Be a master planner, stay focused on the topics, okay, and chalk out a scheme where maybe 4 hours a day you are revising and another 8 hours you are studying, okay. All right, moving ahead. Now develop an attitude to crave for more, okay. Now that means you need not just focus on what is given on the textbooks, okay. Crave for more. Ask your teachers. For example, if you are a BioTecNika student, ask in chat, send more queries, whatever comes in your mind, okay, and get it resolved, right? This way your revision will be better. Now somebody has asked me a question, if we study for 12 hours, will it not affect our health? Now Deepa has asked this question, can anybody tell me, will it affect our health if we are studying 12 hours a day? No? Okay, I'm getting all the answers as no. Somebody is saying yes, it may, okay, it will not. Now let's not quantify with the number of hours you spend, but qualify the number of hours you study, right? Now a person who studies for 12 hours or 18 hours a day also, and his mind is not with the books, or rather he is thinking something else, then even if he spends 18 hours with the books, it's of no use, okay. So you have to give intervals, right? Continuous study is not going to help you, Deepa, and not to anybody else also. You have to give a break. Suppose you study for 40 minutes, take a break of 5 minutes, okay. If you are comfortable listening music, listen to some relaxing music for 5-10 minutes, then again go for it. So this way what happens is your mind is relaxed also, things are permeating slowly, and it will not be a big burden on your mind, and you will not fall sick, okay. Our aim is to qualify CSIR NET exam, not to reach hospital, okay. Now if you say relaxation techniques like Kavya has shared, deep breathing for 5 to 10 minutes, just talking to your friend, right? So all these things are there. Now moving ahead, fragmentize topics on priority. Now assign the levels of difficulty and practice more of questions of different difficulty levels, right? So there will be easy topics, then there will be a little difficult topics. Now do not shy away from the difficult topics, say numericals or high throughput techniques, mechanisms. Okay. Now suppose it is Krebs cycle. So let's draw a flow chart. Let's make it more interesting. Okay. And then study instead of trying to not touch it. We will just make it more interesting by associating with something in the daily life. Okay. So that's how you have to fragmentize the topics on a priority. Now, one question has come up: does self-study helps to crack the exam? I would like to personally take this question at this juncture, because it's not just about 22 days. This question has been asked several times in different forums. So now I will ask one simple question to you, Dasrath. Dasrath happens to ask this question. Now there are two ways of learning. One is you commit a mistake and learn from it. Another is you learn from somebody else's mistake. Correct? Now, which will be time consuming? Which will be less time consuming? Tell me. If you learn from somebody else's mistake, you get to learn more without going through the entire cycle of making a mistake. Correct? So obviously, if you are taking help of some teacher, it is going to help you. Okay. Now one more logic I'll give you. You have passed MSc. Till MSc you have taken help of your teachers, and today you are saying that with self-study you will qualify. Then why did you take help of all your teachers all these years? Correct. Teachers play an important role in our life. Let's not forget them. Let's take help from our teacher. Whomsoever your teacher is, reach to a good teacher, and yes, you will qualify. Okay. You can do self-study. I am not denying that. But simple question. From nursery till MSc, you took help of teachers to qualify all your internal exams. And this is the main exam, and you are not taking help of your teacher. You are saying you want to do self-study. Don't. Why you want to waste time in committing a mistake and then learning from it? Your teacher would have failed so many times already in CSIR, and then he would have succeeded. So he will tell you, see, if you do a mistake like this, you will fail. Don't do that. Right? So that's how it should be. Now coming back to the topic. Thanks Dashrath for your important question here. Now, design your study style. Guys, everybody is unique. All of you are unique. Our genes are unique, and biology has proved it a number of times. But look at this. We all try to study in the general, usual way of chalk and talk method. Am I right? That's where it goes. Now, if you are, studying in your own manner, if you do not design your own style of studying, maybe you are just a part of the crowd, a herd mentality. You're just rushing behind because other people are studying like that. Okay, let me study. Don't do that. Many people enjoy studying while listening to music. For me, I can't, but maybe for others, yes. Many people enjoy studying at night. Many people enjoy studying in the morning, early hours. Right? Whatever is your study style, don't change it. Okay? Don't copy others. Right? First, analyze yourself. Now, emphasize on your low zones, uplift your confidence, believe your success as our success. That's how it should be. The study material, the books, whatever you are referring, it must be from a standard point of view. You should not try to study from the general books which is available in the market. Look at the experts, take help from them. BioTecNika is one of them, but I am not here for self-promotion. I am here to help you in the next 22 days. Whether you take study material from BioTecNika or anywhere, remember you will still have to design your own style, but you need help in terms of doubt clearance. In the next 22 days, imagine if you are stuck with one question 5 minutes, and you have 100 such questions. You have wasted 500 of your minutes just in solving those questions. What if there is a teacher next to you who could solve that, right? And that is where BioTecNika comes into picture. Anyways, let me look at some more queries which has come in. Okay, Somebody has asked how to design this study style. As I told you, you have to design on your own. Okay, of course we all can facilitate. Remember, your school, your college, your mentors all can facilitate learning, but you have to learn eventually, and for that you have to analyze which is the best methodology to study. If you like preparing notes and studying, do it. If you like making flowcharts, do it. If you like sticking a hell lot of flashcards in your house and keep reading them, do it. Whatever might be your study style, you must go for it. Okay, next is stay updated. Now there are a lot of research updates coming in, right? There are a lot of emerging techniques like NGS. There are a lot of recent advancements happening, but are we staying updated? Suman, I'll come to your question later. Okay, now a lot of research updates are coming, but are we preparing? Are we staying updated enough? Tell me. What happens is, in a rut to qualify this exam, we are so much engrossed in books that we just forget to keep ourselves up to date, right? Now, if you are not up to date with the latest, what if a question is asked from that? Okay, so you need to keep reading the latest articles which is coming up, latest research papers on Google Scholars. You can also refer BioTecNika for the latest news, right? Now this will save you from any emergency wherein at the last minute you realize that a new technique has come up and that is also being asked and you don't know about it, right? Even if you know 10 to 20% about any new technique, you will still be able to answer something about it. Okay, so you have to stay up to date. Now develop an analytical approach about everything, because that is where the part C question comes up. Now I will take up Suman Panda's question about should I start from part C. Okay, now I will ask you all, what do you think? You should start from part A to answer your question, or part B, or part C? Okay, I'm getting mixed responses. Okay, alright, so many people said part C, some people said part A. According to me, if, as I said, everybody is unique, your decisions can be part A, B or C. But what I feel is you need to start with part C because it carries the maximum amount of marks, and you are calm and composed and ready to take up the challenge as soon as you start the exam, right? Because by the time that you reach towards the end of the exam, and if you have part C left, most of us panic. So if you are a person who panics early, then solve part C first, so that you are done with it by the time 1.5 hour is over, or say 1 hour 40 minutes is over. Okay, agreed, there are more negative marks there, and that is why you need to answer it in a calm and composed manner. Now if you realize that last half an hour is left and I have 4 part C questions to answer, you will collapse. Even if you will be, your ability is you can solve all of them, you will panic. Okay, so I don't want you to panic. That is why I am saying start solving part C first, then go for part B, and then for part A. Okay, that way maximum amount of marks has been covered. That is my point of view. You can differ, you can try a different way. Okay, now Dashrath has got asked a most important question here. Can you suggest the study plan for working students? Dashrath, I am becoming a fan of yours. You are asking very valid questions. Now guys, if you are working, most of you are working maybe in some or the different labs, and you want to prepare, right? And that is where BioTecNika comes into picture. What we have got is a comfortable 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock batch, 7 to 10 batch. So we teach you for 3 hours every day online, and that will help you. Okay, now if in case you're not ready for that, we have different study plans. But let me come to Dashrath's study plan. If you are a working professional and you want to study, what is the time you get to study? You are done with your job by 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, then maybe you will reach home before 7. Now you have got two options: either you relax, right, take dinner and then start studying. It becomes a little hectic because the moment you start, you all know the biological process, you have food and you think of studying, then all your blood will go towards your stomach to absorb more of nutrition. Your mind will feel sleepy and you will go off, right? That is what will happen in the short. So if you are planning that after food you will study, it may not work. Okay, so you will have to cut down on your traveling time from office to home, and also cut down on your entertainment packages. Okay, and then you will have to utilize that time, maybe 3-4 hours, in studying. And of course, after dinner, depending on your capacity and stamina, you can extend for 2 hours maybe. But remember, next day again you have to go back to work, and that is where you need to sleep early also. So by 12 you have to sleep also, right? So for a working professional, you hardly get 5 hours after your working day, entire tiring day, to go for this. And that is where I would suggest spend 3 hours with the working professionals batch, and then you can go for 2 hours of your own studies. That will help you. Now coming back, let me come back to my point, because Mr. Abhiram is waiting for the chemical sciences session. So develop an analytical approach, be inquisitive, be competitive, and exercise your mind. Okay, so you have to question. All right, you have to question the concepts which you have studied, and try to frame a question out of it, but on your own, and then try to solve it. Okay, I have seen many of the experts who work here that in their study days they used to frame their own questions. Okay, and then they used to come out with the answer. Now with this kind of inquisitivity and urge to learn more and trying to solve more of analytical problems, help them reach where they are today. Okay, so don't leave your mind vacant with anything else. Okay, now there's someone with the nickname student who has, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, can you tell me your name? So he has asked a question: which books to follow for unit 5 to 13. Okay, now that is most important question, which books to follow. So what we've done is, if you go to BioTecNika website, we've got a free resource, a list of top 20 books which you should be referring for every unit we have written. Okay, but if you start referring to those, you will realize that you have a full library, but you don't know from where to start and where to end. Okay, because those books were never written for CSIR NET exam point of view, right? So you can, it's your choice, but don't go for Indian author books, go for a foreign author books. Okay, and if in case you have less of time, you can always go for the study material which BioTecNika has to offer. Now coming back to point number 9, approach during the exam. Okay, so don't guess. First point, don't guess. It is highly damaging, as I told you earlier. Avoid negative marking. Okay, do not guess and end up a disaster in negative marking. Okay, now attempting order of questions, as I said, go for part C, then part B, then part A. But there is a catch here, and you can see that on your screen. Can you see that? First, you should attempt only those questions in which you are highly confident. Get it? So let me scan through the question paper, part C, B and A. All the questions in which I am very confident, let me answer. Then I'll go for those in which I am not so confident, but I think I still have time to answer. Okay, by the time you complete these two process, you will realize that you're done with 70% of your time. Okay, now next comes analytical question. As I said, analytical questions will be there in part C, and you require cool mind to answer it. You should not be answering it in a hurry-burry. You should be calm, composed, and totally confident while answering those questions. You should not panic. Alright? So analytical questions should be answered first. That is why I said go for part C. Do not panic, leave the question, attempt another one if you don't know the answer. go back to the old one only if time permits. Okay. Now with this kind of approach, this can be used in any competitive exam. It will help you refresh your mind. Suppose you are not able to solve that question, you move to the next one. Okay, so your mind is fresh now, you were able to solve the next question, then you can come back to the question which was giving you trouble. Okay, so this can come by practice. It looks very simple on the flow chart, but it's very difficult to practice actually. Okay. Vandana for chemical sciences, you need to wait. Dr. Abhiram is coming shortly. Okay, Garima, I'll come back to your question shortly. Okay. Next. Work hard and be a winner. Everybody, this you have been listening since your childhood. You have to work hard, then only you can succeed. But what I personally believe is you should be ready to fail, then only you can succeed. Okay, and that means you need to take risks. Right? Now, what does this mean? Taking risk means answering more of those questions which I don't know. No, absolutely not. First thing is, let me ask. Although I should have asked this question earlier in the session. Let me ask you: how many times you've attempted the CSIR NET examination? Is this your first attempt? Second attempt? 3 attempts? Okay. Third? Okay. Fifth? Fourth? Fifth is quite a big number. Good, Vinodini, so that you're not giving away your hopes. Now, whether it is your first attempt or fifth attempt, don't worry. First thing is, you need to focus. Next 22 days, you have to work hard smartly. Somebody said we should work hard or we should work smart. My answer is work hard smartly. Alright. So as I said, I have shown you the graph. I hope you have noted it down. Right. So focus and revise those units first, from which the frequency of question is more. That will be your smartness. But hard work cannot replace smart work. That means obviously you have to study those units. That is what I meant. Work hard but smartly. Do you get my point, guys? Alright. Now, I personally came to talk to all of you and give you these tips and tricks because I believe each one of you is special. Each one of you has the stamina and capacity to become the next life science scientist, okay, bioscientist, okay, and I know you have got that zeal to do it, okay. It is just a matter of time that the next 22 days are a deterrent. You're already a winner for me. You're already a winner for BioTecNika because you chose to prepare for CSIR. You chose to stay in the field. You chose to contribute to research community. We are proud of you. We know that you will qualify. You should not panic. Stay calm. Okay. Utilize your next 22 days. Okay. I'll come back to all your questions shortly, guys. So just stay put, listen to me. So you have to stay calm, stay composed, focus on what is ahead. 22 days multiplied by, say, if you're spending 8 to 10 hours, you have got 200 hours at hand, and those 200 hours can change the way you live your life, right? And the graph which you are seeing on the screen can change your life. Frequency of questions versus units. Look at it, note it down, or take a screenshot, or you can also refer the recording later. You all are very unique and very important to BioTecNika. We wish you all the best. Okay. Now coming to your questions individually. For some, I have shared the screen right now. You can see that graph which you might have missed in the earlier part of the session. Flip card and mind map that Suman Panda has asked me. Now, if you already have got the flip card and mind maps, then it's fine. Then you can always practice. It will help you. But if you don't have it, don't start preparing that. Okay, that's what I believe. Don't waste time in that. If you already have it, you can. If you already have it, you can use it. If you have already created flowcharts, and then you can always use it. Right now, I would like to emphasize here: don't just read books. Okay, if you have access to BioTecNika's online portal, or if you can watch some videos, go for them, because that will register in your mind faster. Now with that, I would also help you, I will also tell you a caution. There are a lot of videos which are there on internet. You may feel they are conceptually good, but they are not to the point. Okay, they can confuse you. So don't just blindly follow any teacher whose video is available on the internet. Go for specialists, or you can always come to us. We'll help you out in that. Right? All of you must clear this exam, and that's the most important part. We wish you all the best. A video of this recording will be available by tomorrow, I believe. We thank all of you. I think 72 members chose to join us live, and around 200 plus are waiting for the video recording. We'll certainly share it with you all. Okay. If you have any further questions related to life sciences, you can ask me. Okay, Shipra has got a question: how to select the video. Shipra, you can always refer to BioTecNika's study portal for the videos. They have all those details. Okay. Now, I would also like to share the toll-free number of BioTecNika, that is 1-800-200-3757, which you can refer, which you can call to if you have any help, if you need any help. Okay, our experts will always be at hand to help you. Right now, I can see there are some questions rolling in. Let me. Okay, the number is 1-800-200-3757. In the meanwhile, I've got some questions from some people. Let me look at it. Okay, you're most welcome, Nilamani. We wish you all the best for exam. Okay, Rima says I'm preparing for December NET exam. For that, some other strategy. Rima, the strategy remains the same, but if in case you want more details about it, we'll be conducting a webinar shortly about the December exam. If you're preparing for December exam, we'll be conducting a separate webinar shortly, so you can opt for that. The strategy will be more or less the same. The weightage will be more or less the same. Now Rajeshwari has got a question. If I start with part C, then most of the time will go in reading and solving 25 questions, which I have experienced last time. So how many questions can I approach minimum, and then skip to part B and part A, and then come back to part C? That's a very good question, Rajeshwari. You've nailed it. You have got the experience of writing this exam, and guys, this is what it means to learn from someone who has experienced this. So Rajeshwari has experienced that. She started with the part C questions and ended up solving the entire time part C, right? So I'll give you a benchmark, Rajeshwari. You've got to attempt 25 questions, right? Let's say you want to spend 4 minutes per question. Okay, so 100 minutes is what you should be ideally spending in these 25 questions. If in case you exceed 100 minutes, so 100 minutes roughly, I would say 1.5 hours. Out of 3 hours, 50% time you can give to part C. If you exceed that, skip it, move to the next. Okay, that's my suggestion. Okay, thanks a lot, Kavya, for your appreciation. Okay, Krishna has got a question. What is the point? Can I care to get 20 marks more in CSIR NET because I am getting 90 to 95 each time? Okay, so Krishna has got again another important question, that he is able to fetch 90 to 95, but he wants 20 more marks. So what he should be doing? Krishna, in that case, I would suggest, if I will have some personal questions to you. Are you very good in part C, part B, and weak in part A, or vice versa? Which part is you good at? if you are very good in part B and part C, work on your part A. It can help you as an insurance. It can help you secure 20 more marks. You never know. Okay. Jyoti has got a question. Is it possible to study with working while working? Yes, you can do that. Everybody is doing that, and that's the best option according to me, because you are earning also, and in the meanwhile you are studying also. Now, when you are only studying, it becomes monotonous at times. Okay. Towards the end of the exam, yes, you can maybe take a leave of 20 days and then prepare and give. But throughout the 6-8 months, there's no need. And with BioTecNika's online coaching, the best part is you are sitting at home and attending classes. So even that comes to your home. So you need not worry about that. Okay. Ambika has got a question. Ideally, what amount of time should be spent in these parts? So Ambika, let me give you a breakup. Give 1.5 hours to part C, then move to part B, and last 20 minutes you can spend to part A. Okay. But always keep 30 minutes for revision. Okay, I hope I was able to help you all. Okay, if in case you have any specific question, as I said, you can always dial 1-800-200-3757. Okay, BioTecNika is available in every corner of the country with its online coaching as well as offices in 4 different cities. So we are always there to help you. Don't worry, you will nail it. We are there to help you out. If you have any questions, please email me. Okay. Our email ID is infoinfo@biotecnica.org. Okay. Now the best part of this is the moment you will send an email, you will get a reply that we have received your query, and within 48 hours time we will respond to it. Okay. Now I'll be passing on the controls to Dr. Abhiram. Okay, who will be talking about chemical sciences. Anything you guys want to share, you can always email me at that email ID which I shared. Thank you. Over to you, Abhiram. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Sekta Dhanram from Darjeeling. I have cleared CSIR UGC NET JRF exam with All India rank 131 and GATE exam with All India rank 536. I had joined BioTecNika Noida batch for the exam December 2015. I'm very thankful to all the faculty members of BioTecNika for providing us their time, their knowledge, and all the techniques that they could have that we could use in the examinations. I'm very thankful to the non-teaching staff as well for their constant words of encouragement, and most important, I would like to thank my parents for supporting me throughout, and without my hard work this examination would not have been successful at all. I thank everyone for their constant love and support. Thank you.